This button right here.
It's on.
Just go on the green button.
Can you hear me now? Awesome.
It's like Saturday Night Live. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, we're just gonna flow with it. And you guys got the questions. We're gonna just have fun.
I already forgot the questions, but
Me too.
No, I cannot hear you. Am I good?
Testing, testing. Mic
we're not
3.
live yet, right?
No.
Am I mic 3? That makes sense.
It's all right. I cannot hear you, and it's on. Am I good? Can you hear me? Okay, I can hear you now. Ahora sí los puedo escuchar. Yeah. Okay.
All right, be easy with the Spanish on me, Leo.
No, we're good. We're good.
Right.
I'm ready. Ready as I'm gonna be. Same with you guys.
Let's do this.
Welcome to Vamos KC. This is our arts edition. I'm your host, Leo Prieto, with Tico Productions, Tico Sports, and I'm here on a beautiful summer day. As you can tell, it's a little warm, but we're gonna keep it cool because we're gonna be downtown and we're gonna be talking to some cool people. Three of my favorite artists here in Kansas City. And for those of you who are wondering what Vamos KC is, well, tune into our show. Tune into our show. Check it out. It's a live program where the Tico team gets to talk to you about anything and everything happening in KC. Like I said, today's topic is art, and it's amazing. We got some amazing featured artists that are shaking up KC like no other. And when you think about KC, you think about barbecue, you think about the fountains, you think about the Chiefs, right? You think about all the above. And one thing that does come to mind is art. Art is in all of the above. You see it at the stadiums when you go. You see it at our hospitals when you go. You see it everywhere throughout the community. So today we decided to feature some of our best KC artists here in KC, experts in their craft, and some real good friends to talk about who they are and what they do and how and why they call KC home. So without further ado, again, we're going to keep it very formal and chill. As you can tell, we're all hanging out, relaxing. Our first guest that we're going to have here is Cheryl Acosta. Cheryl Acosta. And I'm going to read a little bit about Cheryl, but I'm going to let her kind of break it down a little bit. Cheryl's a sculptural jewelry designer, and she's amazing. Her work speaks for itself. So Cheryl, if you want to tell us a little bit about your French Boricua self, and let us know about you.
City. Thank you, Tico Productions, for having me today. I'm excited about the Vamos KC Art Edition. And my name is Cheryl Acosta. So I've been making jewelry since I was like 6 years old. And my work is inspired by the cycle of life, and especially marine biology. So I have a studio on the Crossroads, and I've been making these smaller wearables along with bigger sculptural jewelry. Everything one of a kind, made by hand. And as you can see on the screen, I use a couple of different materials and like gold and glass enamel, in addition to fine silver, sterling silver, and fabric, along with brass.
Cool. Wow. That was a nice little rundown. So give it up for Cheryl. Give it up for Cheryl, guys. And our next guest, man, I got to tell you, a lot of people don't know this, but Anthony and I go way back. Like, Anthony was one of the first people I met when I moved here. And what he's done since we've met and what he's doing now. Again, he walked into the studio, I was a little blown away, and I'm just so honored to have him here. Anthony's from KCK, originally from here, born and raised, and he's keeping it real. He's a painter, graphic designer, and web designer, so he's got some mad skills too. And he's also the creator of Amigo Man. So I'm going to have him tell you a little bit about himself, little bio, and keep it moving.
Well, I'm Anthony Oropeza. I'm a, as Leo said, graphic designer and web designer by, which is my 9 to 5. And then evenings, weekends, I work on my sports art and also do some freelance stuff with graphics and web stuff. But in the last 4 or 5 years, it's been mostly sports art and a lot of painting, and I did a mural for the college basketball experience. So it's, in the last 4 or 5 years, there's been a lot of creativity, a lot of art, a lot of designing that's been going on with me here in Kansas City. So what's actually, I guess, made my work go a level or two higher is the work with some of the Royals stuff, which has allowed me to be pretty fortunate in getting work sold to former Royals like Gerard Dyson, also a KC native, Albert Pujols. I was able to, his wife commissioned a piece because of one of his milestones this year. And so I've been really, really fortunate in getting some really good clients, as well as putting out some decent work and being inspired by the Royals and being inspired by fellow artists and the art boom in the last 5-10 years here in KC.
Sweet. Let's give it up for Anthony A.O. Oropeza in the house. Man, that's great. And last but not least, another one of my favorite local artists, great friend, born in Juarez, Mexico. So she's representing the motherland. Viva Mexico. She's been selling paintings since the age of 3. And she's multi-talented. Just this last Friday, she had a show I believe, for the first Friday at the Bates Mortgage Group, and it was fun, and it was cool, and it was so nice to see everyone just kind of partake in her amazing work. And again, I've known Vania forever, so I'm just going to let her talk a little bit about herself, because she's got some cool stuff. Again, everyone's in luck today because we have some amazing artists. So Vania, without further ado, break it down.
Yeah, so my name's Vania Soto. I'm a local artist here in Kansas City, Missouri. Like he said, I was born in Mexico in Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua.
Paisa.
That's right. And most of my stuff represents my heritage, my culture, and I keep it real roots oriented. So most of my work is really bright and colorful. As you can see on the screen, the t-shirt that I'm wearing today is one of my paintings. The t-shirt that Leo's wearing is one of my paintings of Cantinflas. But most of my work, like I said, is really colorful, really pops to you, really speaks to you. All of it has a message. All of my pieces have certain kind of a message that I'm trying to give to the community here in Kansas City. I'm really inspired by my community and the different kind of people that live here, especially like in the Wyandotte area. You get all kinds of mixture of people, and so that's kind of what inspires me really to create. And like he said, I've been selling paintings since I was 13 years old. I've done murals, and
she's also has murals where she's featured on them. So don't forget that. There's some murals in like LA.
Yes.
So you guys are way too humble, because I know way too much about you all.
Yeah. Well, I only have a couple of minutes.
Okay.
So, but I also do leather work. I paint on shoes, high heels, purses. I've done a lot of live auctions for Sporting KC, the Chiefs, the Royals, and so yeah, it's kind of what I do, all in one.
It's awesome. Give it up for Vania, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, you kind of brought up a little bit, Vania, about kind of what inspires you. So I know you have a school, you educate students, and so that's if that's your method of inspiration. We're going to ask everyone this, but what does inspire you? And what, how do you do it?
Well, usually just crazy ideas, dreams sometimes, just thoughts that pop into my head. I focus a lot on like what my mom's into. She's a big inspiration in my life. She just happens to like all of the awesome, cool stuff
Biggest
from
fan,
Mexican
Mama.
culture.
That's awesome.
Yes, you saw her in my show. She was like, "That's
always.
my girl."
Always.
Always showing support. And so, yeah, like I said, I'm inspired by my culture and heritage. I'm also newly starting to do some Native American artwork as well, because, you know, like I said, I'm an immigrant to this country, and they are the natives to this country, and I feel like they should be represented too. And so since my heritage has a lot indigenous culture back into it, I kind of am connecting both and finding like a sweet spot to be able to represent mind and where I immigrated to.
Awesome, awesome. I commend you for that. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
And real quick follow-up question: how do you balance this creative side of yours and the business side of it?
That's a really good question. I think they go hand in hand. I think the only parts is the small parts of my inspiration. Once I kind of see the picture in my head, I know that it's already pretty much executed. I just have to actually execute it. So that's a very small part. Is thinking about what it's going to be, is what it's going to look like, doing the painting, and then everything else after that is business. Marketing, I use my Snapchat a lot to show my step-by-step creating of my paintings, so a lot of my followers know what I'm talking about and how I go through that. I have a lot of my students that I teach that follow me as well. And so after that, posting it on Facebook and on my website, they feel like they were part of my process. So all of that is business oriented and networking and all of that. So I think for me, the biggest part of my process is the business side.
Awesome, 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 awesome. And Anthony, I'm curious to hear what inspires you, because you're self-taught. You've done some great work. I mean, fill me in, man. What gets you going? What makes you work 24/7?
What gets me going? Coffee.
Okay, a good answer.
Sugar. Now, to be honest with you, what gets me going, one is commissions. If I've got a commission, then that takes precedent over everything.
That'll motivate you.
The other thing is, you know, as I mentioned before, what I do with the web and the painting, I also do a bilingual comic book called Amigo Man. And so there's a couple inspirations when it comes to the painting stuff. I love sports, so I love baseball, I love football. You know, I've never really played soccer until about 2 years ago, and I have a huge respect for soccer and the skills it takes to play soccer. And then there's baseball. I love baseball, and I love the grittiness of all sports. I love the getting dirty. I love the work that it takes to become an elite athlete at any level, you know, at any sport. And then there's the kids book, the Amigo Man comic book. I started that probably about, you know, it had to be at least 15, maybe even 20 years ago, where I walked into a comic book shop and there wasn't a main character with a similar background or skin color as myself. Awesome. So on the way home, that's where it all started. I came up with the idea of attempting to create my own, not knowing the amount of work it would take to make a good product. So I went in kind of dumb. And over the past 15, 20 years, with the help of everybody, we've made it better. It was supposed to be English only, then it went bilingual, and the quality of the work has stepped up 10 times higher than what it was when it started. But the main deal was to give kids something cool to read, and it was mainly for 18-year-olds, and then I spoke to a couple teachers, and it sort of morphed into something for third graders, fifth graders, and then preschool teachers would talk to me and say, hey, you don't have anything for us. So I made something for preschoolers.
Awesome.
And so now preschool to 8th grade is what I do. So I transform one story into like 4 different books to cover 4 different type of demographics or reading levels. So all of that is, you know, within the last 15, 20 years, but the inspiration comes from, 1, wanting to put out good work, 2, seeing, you know, other pros out there and what they do and the amount of hard work they put in, and then on top of that, coffee and sugar. So
you find that balance. You find that balance with the creative side and the work, because you put a lot of work into it. This guy's up 24/7, finishing up commissions, and not to age ourselves, but 15 years ago or so is when we first met. So just to see it kind of evolve, it's an amazing thing, man.
And it took a while to figure some of the stuff out. I'm still trying to figure it out. And the question you asked about business and art, they're both tough for me. The way I see it is that there's really good artists, and just like with my education, it takes me 3 times the amount of time to learn something, whether it's math or coding or anything like that. And same thing with the art. It's taken me 3 times as long as the average person to figure things out. And the business side, it's really tough. So I get people to help. I try to figure out who can help me with what, whether it's taxes or whether it's anything along the business, and just like art. But I've never done it alone. So business, art, I just get people to help me.
Awesome, man. Well, congrats. Keep the great work, especially with these amazing portraits that we're going to talk about a little later.
Sure.
And the comic book, man. That's awesome. And last but not least, again, we have Cheryl Eve Acosta. Okay, the French Boricua herself in the house. And I know that your work, your amazing work, is very inspirational. But I want you to kind of dig deep. I know that Vania mentioned her mom a little bit. What inspires you? I know that you really, when it comes to your mom, when it comes to your family, and also growing up in Puerto Rico, and then when you went to school at New Mexico, and then your master's in the East Coast, all those things. Fill us in. Just let us know. What inspires Cheryl Eve Acosta?
My environment.
Okay.
Honestly, I was born on an island, so the water was really influential to my inspiration. And I also lived in France when I was a kid, and fashion and couture and art was part of my upbringing. So I think through my work, I was able to combine the two, that love for the ocean, preserving ocean, and telling my story through my jewelry in that manner. So when I went to, like Leo said, I went to New Mexico State University, and then I was inspired by the desert, by bones and fossils. Then I went to New England, and it was about survival. And when I graduated and moved to Kansas City, it became about birth. So I have 4 collections that represent the cycle about birth, adaptation, fossil, and the cycle continues. So like, for example, this piece is an example of my work about the cycle continues. But
Cycle of life, everyone.
Cycle of life, yes. And I kind of started jumping into men's wear. Actually, Leah's wearing one of my jewelry.
Here we go.
And that was like the mer de verre, sea of glass, and it's that meeting point between land and water and birth. And so that's what the birth collection comes. So you can see these like copper enamel here, pieces that I've created in addition to the fine silver. And another piece I want to mention is going back to Puerto Rico and my roots. As a lot of you know, Puerto Rico got hit, among other places in the world, because of the hurricane. I started to make this jewelry. It's the island of Puerto Rico with a heart, and it's art for a cause. And I've been sending proceeds to Puerto Rico as a way to help the island through my work and through the arts. And so also I wanted to share kind of this other project that I have. It's called Tatouage Jewelry, and it's reusable jewelry that you can wear and reuse. So I'm wearing actually one of these. It's brass, and it comes with the adhesive and the remover, and you can see a couple of other designs. So this is kind of a project that's, in its infancy, being developed, but really fun and unique way of wearing jewelry.
So let me get this straight. It's wearable jewelry.
Yeah, it's wearable and reusable.
Nice.
Yeah.
I saw a big smile on Anthony's face. We're big fans.
Woo,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I'll make you one.
Yeah,
put it right here.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And just to follow up, like everyone else, you're doing so much. I mean, you were, featured in the Kemper, and then you just got this, you're going to be featured in DC, and we're going to get into that. How do you balance all this amazing work, your craft, and the business side? Because it sounds like you guys do a lot of your PR, marketing, Twitter, Snapchat, you name it, you do it. How do you balance that? Do you sleep? You just had the Prairie Art
I slept
art
3
fair.
hours maybe 2 days ago, so I don't sleep a lot, but I do try to balance it out. I think focus and determination, passion are the way that I can tackle and wear all these hats, because it's not easy. But I try to divide my time between creating, designing, manufacturing my pieces, making them, in addition to putting them out there and doing shows and taking pictures, adding it to my website and social media. So I do have interns that help me too on occasion through the Art Institute or other organizations that have really been helpful. So I try to get help as much as I can, but most of it I do myself. But I think discipline overall and focus is the way to balance work and play, if you will, through the arts.
Cool, cool. We heard it here first, and if you ever want to get blinged out, Here you go. You got it all right here. You can blinged out. You get your girl, get your guy. It doesn't matter. You can all get blinged out. Some good stuff. Yeah. Matching. You could do it all. And then you get blinged out, get a shirt. I just need to wear like a canvas, like Anthony's canvas on my back. We got it all. We got it all covered, right? Well, that was awesome, guys. I know we've been talking the whole time, so we're gonna take a quick little break, and we're gonna feature and show some of the amazing media coverage that we talked about briefly, but I wanna get it out there that you guys have been getting this last year. A lot of PR, a lot of good media coverage. Before we do that, I just want to give a big thank you to Arts KC, KCHB Channel 41 News, and Univision for the videos. So without further ado, let's check out the clips. Gracias.
I don't think I ever knew I wanted to be an artist. I think being an artist chose me. And I was already making stuff when I was like 6 years old or 5. And I think my way of expressing my creative self was wearing a bunch of jewelry. And I left Puerto Rico and I pursued my bachelor's degree in metalsmithing, and I learned how to solder, how to hammer, how to do all these things and work metal. And then when I did my master's degree in Rhode Island School of Design, I learned further skills of metalsmithing, and one of them was how to grow metal through electricity. And I think when I left grad school, I was trying to figure out what's next. And my sister kind of is what brought me to Kansas City. Kansas City at large, I think they value the arts, and it shows in the way they actually take action and how they support artists like myself. Arts KC is sort of like that connector between the community and then the creative people in that community and donors who are able to take part of that. The Arts KC has helped me in connecting with the community, but also in helping me fund and support my art. A lot of opportunities have opened up, and I'm excited about the people that I'm gonna meet, because I think the best part of what I do is actually the people that I meet. I think in life, we fuse a lot of things to create a new thing. And today, I think that the theme fuse for Arts KC is very fitting, and reminding ourselves that we need to keep fusing in our mind the need to sustain the arts in our community, support artists. We need creativity to keep evolving as humans. And when we stop thinking creatively, I think is the time we stop living.
My first layer.
With every stroke of the paintbrush, another masterpiece is off and running. Welcome to the soon-to-be world-famous AO Art 5 studio, where designer and painter Anthony Oropeza turns out larger-than-life images of some of sport's biggest superheroes. But it's his love for the hometown legends that drive him to create what he calls passion pieces.
They're created to go into my house, to be mine. And if a buyer or somebody wants to purchase it, then we'll talk about that. Some I don't let go, some I do.
And some of the artwork he's let go has wound up in the homes of some pretty impressive athletes. No formal advertising, just the power of social media.
I push it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and when it came to the Giordano, I sent a tweet out, and I believe Stephen St. John retweeted it, and Hosmer and Dyson saw it, and next thing you know, we're messaging over Twitter, which floored me. And I also have a piece, a Duffy print in Duffy's house. So those, I mean, just having some of my work for the home team is phenomenal.
Talk about a boost of confidence. Some of his favorite players are lining up to get his signature. Remarkable considering this single dad, who goes to work every day as a web development coordinator and graphic designer, at one point found himself boggled down with the day-to-day of life and put his love of painting aside, and found inspiration from the Royals, who encouraged him to get back in the game.
I was watching these guys play, the Royals play, and they just didn't quit. There was something about them that inspired me, and so I would paint periodically in my house, in my apartment, and it would just, something would just say, look, you gotta give it another shot.
But it wasn't just the boys in blue. Perhaps the most important piece of artwork in AO's studio is this framed letter dating back to May of 1992. His rejection letter after applying to art school.
It hit me in the gut. It was a gut check. And so I just kept it and said, one day I hope to prove whoever signed this that they didn't see the potential. And well, it took a few years to prove it, but I'm starting to show and prove it now.
And now when Anthony Oropeza presents his finished pieces, he gets a kick out of seeing the joy he brings to others by sharing his incredible talent.
That's what makes it worth it, because you know there's somebody out there who's like, when they say, wow, that makes all of that stuff worth it. It's really cool.
D. Jackson, 41, Action News.
Y lo prometido, Vania Soto, la única artista plástica latina en Kansas City, invita a apreciar algo más de su calidad artística en sus próximas exposiciones abiertas al público de Latinos. Amigos de Latinos, ¿cómo están? En nuestra sección de entrevistas estamos con Vania Soto, quien es la única mujer latina artista plástica de nuestra localidad. ¿Cómo estás, Vania?
Muy bien, gracias a Dios. ¿Usted?
Muy bien, muy bien. Dinos, ¿en qué te basas para hacer tus obras?
Bueno, yo me baso, pues, pienso en mi cultura, en mis herencias, tradiciones, y pues me dedico mucho a mi comunidad y pues eso me inspira a realizar todas mis obras.
Claro. ¿Y cómo definirías tu estilo?
Mi estilo será muy realístico, uso fotos como referencias para lograr las imágenes y pues sí, es más realístico que nada.
Ya tienes muchos seguidores, me imagino.
Sí, ya he estado pintando desde los 13 años, así que pues desde esos entonces ya tengo bastantes años pintando.
Claro. ¿Y cuál es la novedad que nos traes ahora?
Bueno, hoy les quiero platicar de exhibiciones que voy a tener. Mi primera exhibición va a ser el 1 de junio en el evento que se llama First Fridays en Kansas City, Missouri. Y la dirección es 325 Southwest Boulevard, Kansas City, Missouri. Ahí vamos a estar el 1 de junio y los primeros 10 personas que llegan se van a llevar una copa decorada y pintada por mí previamente.
Buenísimo. Yo voy a ser uno de los primeros.
Uno de los primeros. El segundo va a ser el 15 de julio, de 15 a 19 de julio en el Union Station. Ahí voy a estar exhibiendo mis obras junto con otros artistas de la comunidad y pues todos están invitados.
Perfecto, entonces la invitación está hecha para estas dos fechas donde vas a exhibir tus obras para que el público pueda tener más contacto contigo y pueda tener pues contacto con lo que tú haces, ¿verdad? Evocado directamente a la cultura y a la tradición latina.
Así es.
Y nosotros continuamos con más aquí en De Latinos.
Again, muchísimas gracias a Univision, KCHB, Channel 41 News, and Arts KC for letting us use those videos. Thank you so much. And again, you guys saw it, man. I almost brought a tear to my eye, all three of you. Vania, let's start with you. I know you even did the whole interview in Spanish, so felicidades.
Thank you, gracias.
Échale ganas.
Gracias.
Tell me more about your work and you've had such a great year. What's next this year? What do you got going on?
Yeah. So most of my stuff that I'm going to do for the rest of the year have already been scheduled out since last year. My next thing that I'm doing, before I get to that, this weekend on Saturday, I'm going to have a booth at the Making Movies Carnival at Knucklehead's Saloon by Independence Avenue in Kansas City, Missouri. And so I'll be doing that this Saturday. And then after that, I'm going to Union Station. I'm going to be part of Fringe KC. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Fringe KC, but I'll be exhibiting at Union Station in July from the 14th of July, that video in Spanish where I was just talking about that. I'm going to be at Union Station exhibiting my paintings from the 14th until the 29th of July. I'll be doing that. And in July, I'm also going to have an arts camp for kids, 10 to 16-year-olds. And we do, entry artwork, drawings and paintings, but all of our projects are very cultural oriented. So I'm going to be hosting that. And then in August, from the 15th until my brain is crazy. I'm like doing too much. From the 15th until the 22nd, I will be in San Jose doing WorldCon. Yes, hopefully I'm going to get this guy to come with me.
There we go.
And
it's all about collaboration,
that's
everyone.
Right, that's right. I'm going to be creating the first Mexican woman superhero. So I'm going to be doing Worldcon this year, San Jose, representing La Raza,
Let's go.
always.
Put it on the calendar. Let's all go. Vámonos. Take the Tico jet.
That's right. So if you want to learn more about all the craziness that I'm doing, I have an Instagram, which is Artista Vania Soto, so Artista_Vania Soto. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and I put everything on my website, past stuff that I've done and upcoming stuff that's coming up. So if you would like to follow me, please do so. Give me shout outs. I love
Or just pick up, if I can interrupt, just pick up a magazine, and usually you'll see Vania on the cover of one of the Latino magazines in town. So
I'm trying my best.
But if she's wearing a big, Aztec warrior outfit or what have you,
we're talking about my murals.
There you go, talking about your murals or being in the mural. Awesome.
Yep, that's what I'm doing.
Well, thank you, and you heard all the social media websites and so forth and hashtags, and we're gonna go ahead and provide those to our viewers after this as well. And Anthony, bro, you're next, man. I mean, you brought some amazing work here to the studio. If you want to maybe share a little bit about, that work that you brought, and you've had an amazing year as well. I mean, you're homies with Hosmer and Kane and everyone. So I mean, it's cool. I mean, we hang out with some of the Chiefs players every once in a while, but we're not like drawing portraits of them. So that's really cool. Tell me a little bit about that and what we can expect for you this year. What do you got going on this summer, this fall?
Well, right now I'm working on finishing up the Jose Altuve piece, which is just about finished, and it doesn't have an owner. So some of the pieces I do just because I love the sport or the player, and I love the challenge. So Altuve's just about finished. I have a Mike Trout. That's about a quarter way through. And then I just started for a September exhibit my first Negro League baseball player, which will be Satchel Paige. So I just started that one for an exhibit. And when it comes to exhibits, I've got I don't have a whole bunch this summer because I do a lot of the work, but I'm anticipating possibly showing work again at the K with Arts KC, I hope, if they still do that. And then come September, we have the Kansas City, Kansas Art Festival in KCK, and then I have an arts, Overland Park Arts, they have an arts fest or festival down there, which I'll be showing the Satchel Paige piece. And then in September as well, Elcott Art Center in KCK, I have a 3-man show, 3-man exhibit there of nothing but sports, which is going to be, totally awesome with those 3 artists there. So a lot of stuff in September, but right now it's just a lot of work. I've got freelance gigs I'm doing with a little bit of web stuff, a little consulting, and then I'm writing a 20-chapter Amigo Man young adult chapter book in my free time. So yeah, so that's all being, and then I'm working on the next issue of Amigo Man. So just you name it, I'm doing it. So and a lot of this stuff is put up on my Facebook.
Tell me about the Ventura. Tell me about the Ventura and the Alex Smith that you brought in.
The Ventura was I started the Fernandez piece because he had passed away, and then we got the shock Sunday morning. My daughter woke me up and said, "Dad, you're not going to believe this," and I still can't believe it today. But so I had to put that one on hold, and actually I wasn't going to do a piece, but I wanted to do a piece for me, and then I was going to send his family a copy. I didn't know how I was going to do it, and then I was just about finished with it, and I put it out on Twitter, and Stephen St. John from 810 retweeted it, and I don't know, 10 minutes later, I get a direct message from Gerard Dyson. How much for the paint? And I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to give this away. And then 10 minutes later, of course, I was floored.
Yeah.
I was on the ground.
Wow.
And so I picked myself up, and then a second later, Eric Hosmer direct messaged me. Again, I'm on the floor again, and I'm like, okay, well, I told Hosmer, I said, hey, I can't, Gerard Dyson's picked this, it's called, direct message me first. And I said, if he doesn't really want it, then it's yours. And Dyson took it, and then I said, but I can get you a couple prints if you want, or a print. And he says, you know, yeah, please. And then when I was finished, I said, look, I would appreciate it if you would I want to send you a print so you can send to his parents. And he's like, dude, I'm way ahead of you.
Oh, wow.
He goes, one of my pieces I got from you is going to the Dominican.
Awesome.
And I was like, I felt really good. I felt really good. So, and then from then, it was just, you know, just keep doing work. Just keep doing work. So it was really cool to have some of the royals appreciated. And then I'm also really lucky because a paper print, Danny Duffy has a couple of my prints in his man cave as well. So it's really, really cool to see those guys, or at least hear those guys have some of my work. So.
Cool. I know that our CEO and president, founder, CEO, Cece's listening. So, Cece, we might need some in our office. We might need a couple portraits
Talk
here.
To me. Talk to me.
Talk to Anthony. We know somebody that knows somebody.
Yes, yes.
Tell us a little bit about this one right here with Salvi, man.
Well, that was, well, see, so this is part of a series. It's a series of 5. Which started probably in 2013. That was the goal, is just to do 5 paintings of the royals, and just, you know, because they were back then you could just see the momentum.
Yeah.
And so
It
I said,
was
you know
hype.
what? Yeah. And so him, Perez, Gordon, Moose, Haas were the first 4, and so I started working on that, and every piece got a little bit easier. And I was just like, we've got to keep going. And then, you know, to be honest with you, Kane was the first one that I did. And then everybody else was after. And I'm just starting to get to the 5th one of this series, which is Gordon.
Yeah.
So I just started that. And the cool thing about it is the momentum built not only when it came to the paintings, but it also built when it came to, you know, potential fans and people liking the work and appreciating the work through social media. So once I started getting on Facebook and posting, you know, just like a lot of people, the progression of it, then I started getting people inquiring about the work and then asking me to do stuff. Like, I guarantee you that I would not be here if it wasn't for me posting stuff and people who are busy, you know, to see the work, you know, throughout the day. So it's really cool.
Power of social media, everyone.
Absolutely.
You know, here we have on the screen, we have you know, how people can follow you and all your upcoming events. And again, just want to commend you for all your work. And this amigo, man, again, it was like Biggie would say, it was all a dream, you know, it was a vision.
Big
when
idea.
we first talked about it, and now it's coming to fruition. So that's so cool to see. So congrats on that.
Thank you.
And Cheryl, tell us a little bit more about your projects, what you got going on. You just wrapped up the Prairie Village Art Fair, and you have some awesome accolades with the Kemper, and now your work is being featured in DC. Please, fill us in.
Well, the video that was just shared on online on the Facebook video, that was Arts KC Awards Luncheon. So this year I was a featured artist for Arts KC Awards Luncheon.
Amazing.
And I created like 100 centerpieces and these awards for people who have made a difference in the greater Kansas City area. So it's really, to me, amazing that I can be part of that, and also create an art piece for those, and, you know, recognizing the support that keeps happening here in Kansas City. Prior to that, I had an exhibit almost a year ago at the Kemper Museum, and it was called Women to Watch. So I had medals. So I was part of that event, and that basically escalated to me. I got this letter today, this little card.
Awesome. You saw it here first on Vamos KC,
I just got this
right
today.
here.
I was so excited, and it says Heavy Metal Woman to Watch 2018. And basically, I was selected to have my work represented in the National Museum of Women in the Arts in DC, representing the greater Kansas City area. And I'm just like speechless and so grateful for the support. And there's so much great talent here in Kansas City, obviously. We're surrounded by it. And to think that we're going beyond the Kansas City area and just kind of planting our seeds around the world is really exciting. So other stuff that I have going on, so I'm leaving like in 2 weeks to go to DC.
Tell me about, you're all blinged out today. Tell me about what you're sporting there.
Well,
because Vania's sporting it too. We're all about collaboration,
yes,
so we're all.
Vania's wearing some of my Mer de Verre, so the enamel work, her ring, and then also the little silver earrings from my Ciclos collection. So I am working on creating more jewelry pieces for a show that I'm going to do in Des Moines, Iowa, Arts Fest. That will be also in 2 weeks. From there, I'm going to go to Crested Butte in Colorado for another show. Then Plaza Art Fair, for those who are fans of the Plaza Art Fair, I'll be doing Plaza Art Fair.
When Cheryl is in town, if you want to catch her work in KC, the Plaza Art Fair would be the place to be. Or your studio. Tell them about your spot.
Well, let me finish off with the Plaza Art Fair. That'll be in September, and then following in December, I'm going to be doing a show in Colorado called One of a Kind. Sorry, Chicago, called One of a Kind. So that will be also like 5 days of getting my work out. So I'll be traveling a little bit while I'm making art. And then your question was, I forgot. Tell us about. Now we were talking about your
studio.
Oh, my studio.
Your
yeah.
spot, your location.
Yeah. So
where can people go see
we
your
are
studio?
on 10th and Wyandotte. I'm on 19th Terrace and Wyandotte. Literally straight shot down the street. I am there every day. So you can just text me, call me, message me. I am there working 24/7, like Leo said, and most of us are. Just creating more jewelry and developing my, my tatouage still, my smaller wearable, in addition to my fine art, the work that'll be exhibited in DC. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, so if you guys want to follow my work, I mean, I don't know if I could share my social media.
Oh, it's all up there. We got an image on there, but please share it. Share it with everyone.
Yeah, so my website is cheryleve.com, and there I always post all the events that I have coming up. In addition to my Facebook, Cheryl Eve Designs, and Twitter, I'm on Instagram, Cheryl Eve Acosta. That's where I post a lot of my work for those visual candy lovers. That's where I have my pieces. And then I also, on my website, have a link to tatouage jewelry, which is the other body jewelry that I'm creating. So yeah, I hope you guys follow me and visit my work. And thank you guys, Tico Productions, for having us here.
Can you give Tico Productions a little shout out in French so we can make it, instead of a bilingual show, we'll make it a trilingual show?
Bueno, gracias. Tico Productions por tenernos aquí en Kansas City, Vamos KC. Et en français, je veux vous remercier, Tico Productions, pour nous avoir ici, à les artistes à Kansas City, Vamos KC. Yes.
Cool. Wow, you heard it here first. Wow, man, talk about échale ganas. It's awesome.
Vamos.
Wow, man, thank you all for your thoughtful answers. Again, it's too cool. This is such a cool event. So honored to have you all here. But before we go, we're going to take another little break. And we're going to talk about a little highlight. We highlight every show. We do a reoccurring Vamos Canine. So it's not just Vamos KC, Vamos Canine, where we have our correspondent, Brenna Dwyer, in the house that's out there telling us about this month's furry friend looking for a home. It could be yours. So let's watch.
We're back with Vamos Canine. I'm Brenna Dwyer, and this is Tori, and she's going to talk about Miss Firefly.
So we have Firefly here, who is just a jewel of a dog. So she is about a year old, came to us as a stray originally, and she's had some skin issues, but it's easily manageable with a certain type of diet. So we have her on a high protein diet, so she has been able to start clearing up those skin issues that she's developed over time. It's mostly likely just due to skin allergies. She's been able to pair up with other dogs here at the shelter, so if you have another dog in your home and you're looking for a play buddy, bring them down to see if they and Firefly would be a good match. And she is ready to go at our main shelter location, so you can come down and meet her today. So we have all sorts of retail items here that you can purchase for your new pet, so you don't even have to go to the pet store or anything. We sell crates, collars, leashes, food, treats, toys, anything you would need to take your pet home today.
Tori, do you know how much it costs to adopt a dog?
Usually for the little dogs, it's around $150 to $250 to adopt. And then as far as the other costs go, adult cats usually range from $25 to $50, and then kittens are $75. Dog adoptions range from $50 to $250, but we do have adoption specials all the time. So if you're interested in adopting a pet, we just had one this last weekend where it was $35 dog adoptions. We're going to have one here in the next couple of weeks, so watch our Facebook page for any information about our upcoming specials if you're interested in adopting a pet during one of our awesome specials that we do.
Awesome. You heard it from her. Watch their Facebook. This is Brenna Dwyer from Vamos Canine.
We're looking for 64 Mibsters or marble players to come out to play in the Kansas City Marble Tournament. The tournament is free, as is admission to the National Museum of Toys and Miniatures that day, June 9th, and registration has already started. You can find registration at www.toyandminiaturemuseum.org under programs. Just look for the Marble Tournament. You do not have to bring your own marbles. We will provide your marbles. Just bring your thumb and bring your skills.
So the museum opened in 1982, and we have fabulous collections of fine-scale miniatures, which are little 1/12 scale pieces of art, fully functional, made by artists. And then we also have thousands of toys from all generations. So doll houses to army men, you'll find all sorts of toys here at the museum.
Shout outs to the marbles, las canicas. They're at the museum. That's going on. Check it out. And Brenna, thanks again for displaying and showing us a featured pet of the month. So if you don't have one, I think a couple of us in this room have at least a couple, get one because they are available. So thank you again for that. Before we go, I just wanted to thank you guys again. But inspired by Amigo Man, we really didn't get into this, Anthony. But what's a superpower?
You know what? To be honest with you, he doesn't have a superpower except for hard work, reading, and
Wow.
to be honest with you, and figuring a lot of stuff out. He's a poor guy.
Okay.
He comes from a broken home, a single parent, and he lives in an area which is named the city of Del Oro, which is basically Kansas City. It's modeled after Kansas City. So there's West Del Oro, and there's East Del Oro. So it's KC Mo, KCK.
Cool.
So you're going to see a lot of reflection of KC in there. But he just figures things out. He makes his own gear. He learns martial arts, boxing, jiu-jitsu, but he does all of that stuff to figure it out. And then the story goes down the road where he'll get like flashes of superheroes. So for maybe an issue or two, he'll be able to fly or he'll be able to do something. But basically, he's grassroots right now.
Okay, grassroots. Sounds pretty Latino to me. I'm just thinking about it, and I'm going to ask each and every one of you what your superpower would be. I know if I had a superpower, shoot, I would probably, if I could read people's minds, maybe, maybe especially my girlfriend's mind. If I knew that, man, it'd be like a Netflix night every night, But you just never know. But for some reason, like Latinas, especially if they're half French too, they happen to know, like they can read minds. They already have that built-in superpower. Vania, you women have that built-in superpower, whether it's as a built-in investigative reporters or mind readers.
That's right.
So I mean, y'all are already talented, but I would do that. And another Latino superpower that I would have is I'd love to just make it rain with green cards and just hook everyone up. Todos paisanos, mira, we're gonna make it rain with green cards and hook everyone up. That would be my superpower. Vania, what would be your superpower?
Absolutely. Mine would be similar, except minus the green card.
Okay.
I think I would just, I would want to be able to fly, so it wouldn't be any borders. We can just fly
see, there we
literally
go.
anywhere, no borders anywhere, and everybody would be free to just kind of do whatever they want, be wherever they want, and traffic jam would be like serious.
Yeah, it would be cool. It would be cool. And Cheryl, what about you? I know you're always working. Were your superpower be to like clone yourself and do all your inventory?
Wait a second. I thought you couldn't read my mind. It just read my mind. Yes.
Dang.
Multiplicity.
Yeah.
I would
clone.
I'd be like, I need 2 of me right now. I need 5 of me right now. Boom. And flying would be awesome.
Okay. And
but
Anthony?
Multiplicity.
I'm a big fan of Batman, but Spider-Man's my second. If I could have every ability Spider-Man had when it comes to walking up buildings, which would be cool, and being able to take the kinds of punishment he would take and be able to regenerate. That would work for me, especially when it comes to working late nights and getting 3 hours, 4 hours of sleep, because I work a 9-to-5er. So I need, like right now, I'm on lunch. Right now, doing my interview here. So
that's awesome.
But if I could have that kind of strength, so.
Cool.
Yep.
Oh, well, thank you, man. Thank you. And thanks again to everyone for our guests today. We got Vania, Anthony, A.O., Cheryl, Acosta. Thank you for watching Vamos KC. Also, a big thanks to everyone working behind the scenes, because people don't know this, but here at Tico Town, this is a real production. We got like 6 cameras, a couple GoPros, you name it, we do it. So big thank you to our team, make it happen. We got Livia in the house. We got El Tico. We got Brenna, Kike, Carlos, Carlitos, and our interns, Kobe and Caitlin, the birthday girl. Man, put you all to work today. So thank you for all your help behind the scenes, the cameras, and a couple things. I know we've kind of extended, but that's why, because you have such talented guests. We could talk forever, but just a couple announcements. This Friday, June 8th, the Guadalupe Center is having a golf tournament at Swope Park. So be there, be square. And then June 8th, Making Movies and some other local artists will be featuring a lot of kind of immigrant voice awareness, issue awareness event at the Travoy, right across the street from Cheryl's studio, actually, in the Crossroads. That's on the 8th. On the 9th, Vania mentioned it, Carnaval. Carnaval is coming up at Knuckleheads with Making Movies, and if you haven't checked them out, go check them out, go watch it. We were lucky enough to have them in San Francisco for the HIP convention, Hispanics in Philanthropy, and they rocked it. They were up there with, you know, Frankie Negron, and they rocked it. So let's keep supporting our local KC artists. I have to get them on next time. June 15th, last but not least, we have a biggie party at Big Brothers Big Sisters. It's a rooftop jam to recruit and to get minorities out. There's a lot of littles that need that role model, so go out and support. That'll be the 15th. And then June kicks off World Cup time. So if I had a jersey here, I would show you the team that I'm rooting for. And let me just give you a hint. Yeah, let me just give you a hint. It starts with an M, and here we go. It's we call it Viva Mexico. If you don't already know, now you know. Okay, so let's keep an eye out for that. June kicking off World Cup. And if the national Mexico team can play like they party, we'll be all good. Join us next time for Vamos KC, where we'll be talking to young professional leaders and women leaders in sports. More to come. Stay tuned. Again, thank you, folks, all three of you and everyone watching today for being a part. Look out for our next Vamos KC edition coming in July. Stay cool and creative. Till then. And 1, 2, 3, Vamos KC. 1, 2, 3, Vamos KC.
Hola, bienvenido a Decide Tech.
Cada 3 años de cáncer del colon. Bueno, es demasiado.